Well, I'm just outside of Julian, California, and this is Coleman Creek. And Coleman Creek is right adjacent to Coleman Circle, which is a little small residential area just on the west side of Julian. And why am I here today in Julian and at Coleman Creek? I'll get to that in a little bit. Well, good morning and welcome back out here to another edition of Backcountry Trails. Today we're going to be taking a trip back in time, back to the days of the Wild West in the late 1860s, just after the Civil War. I'm going to be taking a drive up toward Julian, California. And Julian, for the people that live in Southern California, is known for its gold mining, and they had quite the heyday back in the late 1800s. After the Civil War, there was a big rush. All the gold miners headed out to Julian for what they discovered was a gold depository up in the mountains of the Cleveland National Forest. Now, back in the 1860s, there was a man named Fred Coleman. His real name was A.E. Coleman. He was a freed slave from Kentucky that came out west at the end of the Civil War. He spent some time in Northern California working some of the gold fields and got pretty well known as a horseman. He was good at rounding up cattle and working the ranches. So when he eventually came out to Southern California, he settled down in the town of Julian. Some of the local ranchers figured out he was good with horses, and so they hired him to manage cattle and run horses up in the Julian area. Well, in 1860 or thereabout, Fred Coleman was with his horse, and he was tending some cattle, and he stopped to take a drink from a cool creek near Julian. And while his horse was taking a sip from the creek, he looked down and he saw something kind of shiny down in the water, and coming from the gold field, he knew exactly what that was. That was gold. And quickly, the word of his gold find up in near Julian spread, and within months, there were 8,000 people converging on Julian. And Fred Coleman was the one that was originally credited with finding the first gold deposit up in Julian. So how this comes to play is I got an email from a guy, and I actually saw some post on a Julian website, historical website, that he was in the Julian Historical Museum in town, and he saw an old photograph. It was an old copy of a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers map from the early 1900s, like 1902, 1903, sometime in that era. And while he was in the museum, he was talking to the curator of the museum, and he was looking at the picture, and he noticed on the map that there was a little triangle or a little rectangle shape with a cross in the middle of it, and it said CEM, or cemetery, and he wanted to know what that was. And the curator of the museum said that, well, he was told that that's where Fred Coleman was buried. He was the father of 11 children up in the Julian area, and when he was finally laid to rest in the early 1900s, he was buried on top of a hill overlooking Julian and overlooking Santa Isabel on a mountaintop. And over the years, some of his family members were also buried there. But the National Forest Service, when they put together their topographic maps, they didn't really list it. All they left was that same original rectangle shape with the cross and the word cemetery. So anyway, on this adventure, I'm on a hunt to find the original burying location of Fred Coleman and his family. And it's not on a marked trail. It's way back in the wilderness. And I'm going to be taking a drive up there, and I'm going to see if I can locate it. And that'll all be coming up next in this edition of Backcountry Trails. My hunt to find the resting place of Fred Coleman, one of the founders of gold in Julian, California. That'll all be coming up next. Well, good morning and welcome out to an area of the Cleveland National Forest just west of Julian, California. I'm off Eagle Peak Road, and the reason I'm here today is I'm trying to find an abandoned cemetery, an abandoned gravesite, as it were, and it's on that mountain way off in the distance. There's no trail to get to it. It's going to be all off trail navigation to get there from here. It should be a round trip hike of about 5.5, 6 miles. Elevation gain of about 1,000 feet, maybe a little less. Hopefully I'll be able to get up there and I'll be able to find the abandoned cemetery. And I'm surprised it's this warm. You know, we had snow a couple of days ago, probably not at this elevation, but I'm sweating already. So jacket's staying in the car, and hopefully I'll be able to make it up there at a pretty quick time, I would hope, and get some great pictures. I know there's going to be a tremendous view from up there. Well, hopefully I'll be able to find the cemetery, the gravesite of A.E. Coleman, better known as Fred Coleman, who was one of the founding fathers of Julian. He's the one that discovered gold up here in the late 1860s, which started the Julian Gold Rush. So hopefully I can find that today, get some coordinates for it, and notify the National Forest Service. Maybe we can get him a plaque. What do you think? Well, anyway, follow me up the non-trail as I work my way cross-country up to the top of this peak to look for Fred Coleman's resting place. That'll all be coming up next in this edition of Backcountry Trail. Stick around. Well, as I'm working my way down through this little brief section of shady oak woodland here, there's actually a semblance of a trail. I think this isn't really a trail as much as it is a game trail used by the cattle. But up here, besides some magnificent oak trees, there's it looks like some little stock watering troughs. There's several of them here. There's one right here. It's got, looks like it's spring fed. There's still water flowing into it right here. You can see that right behind me here. I'll go check that out. I do have to keep an eye on the map and compass and the GPS. I am heading toward the general direction of where I need to be up at the top of that peak, but I do need to keep close tabs on it. And it's hot here in the sun. All right, this is our first crossing of Ritchie Creek, which flows down from the mountain above us. We're going to be working our way along Ritchie Creek for a little ways and off to the right. Well, there's a trail as it crosses Ritchie Creek again. There's a path that works its way up to the right, but that's not where my route shows. My route shows I'm going on top of this sagebrush covered hillside, and I'm going to connect with what's on the map, appears to be a trail of some sort, and it's going to spit out over the other side of this ridgeline and eventually meet up with the creek trail further up canyon. I have a feeling they probably went this way to avoid the thick brush and the poison oak down along the creek. So I'll climb up a little ways, see if I see anything. If not, I can always work my way back here. You can hear the bullfrogs and the birds chirping. Maybe I'll get lucky and I'll see that hawk fly over. This is a continuation upstream of Ritchie Creek. Heard a screeching raptor earlier. Of course, the blue jays are giving away my presence. There's no sneaking around here today. Well, I finally climbed out of Ritchie Creek above the top of that hill. Boy, that was tough. That was a lot of thorny branches and bushes, and there was a slight path sort of through it. You could tell where cattle had probably most likely come up the hillside up here to the cooler elevations and the shade of the oaks up here. And I went a little ways, it leveled off a bit, and now I just crossed a sign that said it was managed by San Diego River Authority or something. And you can see there's a path right here. It looks like my path is going to go around to the right and work its way over toward the hill over there. So that's where I'm going to go. But boy, it's a lot hotter than I thought it would be. Luckily, I have 3 liters of water today, because I have a feeling I might need it on the way back. Well, in the middle of nowhere, up here, I ran across this bench. There's a plaque on it, but I really can't read it. It's too old. But it's as good a place as any to take a break. I need to get caught up on my hydration, and not only that, I probably need to take some form of calories here. I mean, I'll take an energy gel. I'm getting kind of tired. That heat just like took the wind right out of my sails, I tell you that. But there are some planes flying overhead. What do I got here? Looks like I got some espresso beans. I know I got quite a bit in here, actually. I think it's in my main part of the pack. Yeah, there we go. Got a beef stick. What else we got in here? That's coffee, and that's my lunch. That's not really what I was looking for. I do have an iced tea in here. Sweet tea that actually sounds really good. And because it was inside my pack, it's actually still cold. I'm getting there. Slowly but surely. On the scheme of things, let's see where I'm at here. This is actually probably a better view on my map right here. I started over here, actually. I went up, here's Ritchie Creek. So I went up Ritchie Creek, and then I worked my way up. I'm about right here, I would imagine. So I'm probably right up here is a junction where I'm going to make a right. And just off the map here is probably that pond where I'm at right now. So I'm getting there. Slowly but surely. This is a lot harder than I thought it would be. It said it was 95 feet of elevation gain to get to this spot. Well, not this spot, but over there. So the elevation gain, it depends on which peak. I haven't got my compass out and looked. I don't know if it's this one or that one, but I'm getting there. But I'm curious as to why there's a game camera. Well, I know why there's a game camera, because there's water. Probably a lot of mountain lions here. Foxes, bobcats, coyotes, birds and snakes, they all drink out of that water supply. I didn't want to spend too much time near the water because I didn't want to have my smell permeate the ground. So I did have to walk down to it because I had to get a picture, but I'm curious as to which game camera that is. So maybe when I get back I can do some research and try to find it. It would be interesting to see what comes to visit. It's really pretty up here. I don't even know what this is. This isn't on the map as part of a game preserve. There were no signs saying no trespassing or anything like that. It did say this area was managed by the San Diego River Authority, but that was it. So maybe when I get home I'll do some checking. But in the meantime, I got a nice cool breeze here. I've got shade under this magnificent old oak tree, and I'm gonna take advantage of it, take a break. It's only 10:30. I got all day. Well, as I'm working my way across this gorgeous meadow, working my way up to the top of the ridge line here, looks like I'm going to be making a turn to the right. And according to my map, there's some sort of a trail junction. It's not marked, but it looks like this path that I'm on can go right or left up here. at a Y. So I'm going to be going to the right over toward the top of the mountain. I see a chain link fence over there, so hopefully that won't be in the way of where I need to go. But God, it's gorgeous up here. And if this isn't part of a park, it should be. Well, this looks like my Y junction. Looks like there's a route that goes to the left and a route that goes to the right. We're going to be going over that direction toward the top of that hill, maybe. Or maybe it's another hill over there, I don't know. Guess we'll find out shortly. Well, if my map is correct, it looks like the resting place of the old ancient settler is up there on top of that mountain. Well, I'm almost at the peak. Once I get up here, we'll see what kind of view I have on the other side. I bet it's a pretty good one. Well, this is all that's left of the cemetery where Fred Coleman is buried. There's a few poles. I haven't found any headstones or anything. But it is on top of this hill. Has a pretty good view. I'm going to scout around a little more. See if I can find something. Well, this is the view from Fred Coleman Cemetery site. I'm looking to the west and south as I'm working my way to the north. All right, this is an aerial view from this boulder outcrop overlooking the Fred Coleman Cemetery site on the topographic map. Somewhere in the middle of those posts, Fred Coleman and probably his family has been buried. Probably well over 100 years ago. Well, this is a view looking, I guess, to the northeast from the cemetery. Out there in that distance is Santa Isabel Peak and Santa Isabel, where Dudley's and the Julian Pie Company is. Well, I'm taking a break here at the Coleman Cemetery, or so it says on the map. A little harder hike than I thought to get up here. I did have to pass through part of that open meadow spaces where it said San Diego River Authority or something. When I was coming through the other side, as I exited onto this section, there was a sign on the other side that said private property. But there was nothing on the other side of the fence and nothing on the side of the fence that I came from. So if you were to come from the direction that I came from, you wouldn't even know you were actually on private property. And I don't know how the authority can consider that private property, because further down it said it was managed by them. It didn't say it was private, it just said it was managed by them. So I don't know, but this is kind of a nice spot. There were other places back that way that I actually thought were better than this. And I scattered around pretty good, and other than these posts that outline what is probably the cemetery, there is a little section of down posts and some old barbed wire over there, so I'm sure at one point everything within the circle of these posts was probably fenced off. And for all I know, I could be having lunch right here on Fred himself. There's no indication. I didn't see any graveyard mounds. There is a mound right there, a small one. Maybe over there, but can't really tell. There's no headstones, there's no plaques, there's nothing up here, but it is marked on the topographic map. So when I get back, I'm going to upload the GPS coordinates of this location and some pictures to National Forest Service and see if they can confirm that this is in fact Fred Coleman's resting place. And if it is, I think it deserves a plaque. And Julian exploded with population and with mining sites and claims, and miners came from all over to explore and dig up gold out here in the mountains around Julian. And it was all because of Fred Coleman and Fred Coleman's discovery at what is Coleman Creek. And when I've been told, Fred is buried right here at an unmarked spot on top of this mountain, just west of Julian. That's where I am today. So anyway, it's got a nice breeze up here. I'm in a little bit of shade. I'm going to have my lunch and enjoy peace and tranquility that Fred has offered, and then start working my way back down to Eagle Peak Road. And, I just want to thank the guy that gave me the information about this hike. It's not really a hike because there is no marked trail, but about this location and about how he found it. Supposedly he was in the Julian Museum, Historical Museum, and took a picture of U.S. Army Corps of Engineers map dated 1903, and on that map was a little hash mark rectangle with the word CEM for cemetery on it. And he was told that was the resting place. Well, that's where we are right now. We're actually on that spot in that rectangle on top of the mountain in Julian. How cool is that? Well, anyway, after I have my lunch, I'm going to get caught up on my hydration and start working my way back to Eagle Peak Road and head back down to Julian. You know, as I've been scouting around this area up here, this looks like the most likely place for Fred Coleman to have been buried. He's got a marker, or at least the edge of the cemetery. He's got a nice shaded tree. And if you notice right here in front of me, there is what appears to be remnants of a rectangle that is sunk in from the surrounding terrain. So maybe at one point this area was dug up, Fred was buried, soil was placed back on top, and over time, over the 100 years, it has recessed down a little bit. Next to the cow pies, the cattle come up here, it looks like. But I would think this would be the most likely place for Fred to have been buried. Picked a good spot, base of the tree, and the shade. Well, it ended up being a little harder hike than I thought. Gonna get me something to drink here out of the ice chest. Maybe I'll get me a Powerade. It's a lot hotter than I thought it was gonna be. You know, it was 43 on the way up here. It feels like 93 right now. I know it's not, but it was a good hike, though. The guy that gave me the information said it's a little easier coming back. There is some uphill on the way down, on the way back, I mean. And it takes a toll on you, that's for sure. But you can see the trail. There's one spot that's on the southwest facing slopes in like waist-high sagebrush. And that part's just hotter than mother. And it's scratchy, and I'm just thankful I wore pants. And I'm also thankful I put on sunscreen because I would have needed it today. But obviously I didn't see anybody on the way out there, didn't see anybody on the way back. I'm kind of surprised I didn't see any wildlife. I did see the cattle. Did see that one raptor that was flying around over by the cemetery, and ground squirrels galore. Saw a few blue jays. Didn't see any rabbits, no mammals really to speak of other than the cows. And that's it. It would have been nicer to come back here on a cooler day, that's for sure. I did take some pictures, quite a few, and I'll throw them at the end of the video. And want to get a hold of the National Forest Service. Want to give them the coordinates for that location. I'll also send them a picture or two just so they know. There's basically a trail. I didn't think there was going to be a trail at all. And there basically is a trail. It's not used very much, but you can see where there were other footprints on there besides the cattle. So it's definitely doable. And I'm not sure about that one little short section that's kind of between the San Diego River Authority section. It's obviously not their property at some point, and then you go through about maybe a quarter mile, half miles of section that is under their control, and then you pop back out again. So if they ever decide to make this a legitimate hiking trail, they're going to need to put signs on this end for sure. And they're going to have to get some kind of authorization or an easement to go through that one section. You don't actually go down into the river bottom, so I don't know why they have that sign. And they have nothing on this side. It's only on the way back. So anyway. Alrighty, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to have my my Powerade here and cool off, and then head down the hill to Santa Isabel. I got to get that slice of Dutch apple pie. Well, what'd you think about my adventure up toward Julian, California to find the resting place of Fred Coleman? It was pretty interesting. I did run into a little bit of problems. Coming back, I ran across that one section that was borderline trespassing. I don't think it was trespassing. I actually spoke to representatives from the Cleveland National Forest, and they said that if I'm doing a wilderness patrol and I'm in uniform and I'm on what's marked as Cleveland National Forest on the map, I'm totally fine to be where I was. And that he said there are a lot of areas in the National Forest that people have posted no trespassing signs, private property signs, and a lot of those aren't even legit. You do want to make your best effort to avoid private property. You want to respect that, but a lot of times people don't like you snooping around areas that they consider their special place. So whether or not the area where the trail cam was in the San Diego River Gorge was actually private property, I don't think so, because on my map and nowhere on the map does it mention anything about that being private property. So anyway, so that's what that was about. But in the next episode of Backcountry Trails, I go back up to the San Jacinto Wilderness. I'm going to be taking a hike up the South Ridge Trail up to the top of Tockwitz Peak. Now, I haven't been up there this year because of the snow. And when you're coming up from the Devil's Slide Trail and from the southbound Pacific Crest Trail, there's one section that's really dicey and it's full of snow, and it's not a good idea to be up there in the winter conditions. But it's been so hot lately. In fact, at one point, just a few weeks ago, it was predicted to be 105. 105. And it's not even spring yet.
93 today. We're 100 degrees Tuesday for St. Patrick's Day. Looking to be temperatures peaking for you Thursday and Friday at 105.
So anyway, I did make a trip up there and had a great experience on the hike up there to the top of Tockwitz Peak. And that'll all be coming up next in this future edition of Backcountry Trails. I've also been doing quite a few wilderness patrols in the Cleveland National Forest. I just went to Wild Horse Peak just a couple of days ago, and I've done another one along the Arroyo Seco Creek. So those will be probably future episodes down the trail. Well, anyway, stay in touch. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to post a comment down below if you have a question or you have a concern about anything that you've seen on the channel. And hopefully I'll see you down the trail. And by the way, in this month, I've got several different meetings I have to go to. The reconnect with the fire lookout people in the San Bernardino National Forest and the Cleveland National Forest. So I'll be attending some training classes for both locations, as well as a training class for the Wilderness Patrol up in San Jacinto. So that'll all be coming up next too. So anyway, stick around and be safe. Look out for the rattlesnakes because they're out. And this last hike I went to Wild Horse Peak, I didn't see any rattlesnakes, but I came across a really cool rosy boa. So anyway, that'll be up in a future edition. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you down the trail. Bye-bye. Well, here's a really nice rosy boa. You don't see those too often. This is the first one I've actually seen on the trail. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this adventure of Backcountry Trails, my hike out to see the Coleman Cemetery just west of Julian. And don't forget to hit that click and subscribe button, and tell your friends about the channel, and also hit that like button. Well, anyway, take care, and I'll catch up with you down the trail. Alrighty, bye-bye.